And now part two of my one-on-one with Don Lemon.
I don't want to get too deep down the political hole here, but when one sits at home and watches, whether it's the cable news or even, network news, I sit and I scratch my head and go, really? How can people buy into this stuff? It's mind-blowing, and yet they are.
Well, how can they? People love having their attitudes and their beliefs reinforced. Why do you think some people just park it on one channel and just sit there and go, yeah, that's right. That's right. Because people want to have their beliefs reinforced. People don't want to be challenged. It's hard to grow. It's hard to evolve. The country's changing. The demographics of the country are changing. And so that's scary to a lot of people. And so if it is easier for you to believe in or have life the way it was and the way that you believe that it should be for forever, and if that is easier, then that's what you're going to grasp and hold on to.
Yeah, and
that's it.
Well, you're right.
And if someone comes along and says says it loud enough and enough times, then you start to believe it. Yeah, they're taking your jobs. They're stealing this from you. The election was stolen. You're not going to, they want to take your vote away from you.
Yeah, you don't need to wear a mask. It's ridiculous. Yeah. All of that stuff. Plus Life, we created this whole platform and this program really about, when life has knocked you down and it's so easy to stay down in the dirt and have a good cry and a sulk. And if you feel like you've been knocked down enough times, you don't want to get up. And I feel like that sort of relates a little bit to where the United States is at the moment. I feel like a lot of us feel like we've just been beaten and pushed. But there is this hope. There is this surge of people wanting to get up. Where do you stand on all that? What do you think of America, and how does America pick itself up and dust itself off, but move forward, not forgetting, but move forward in the right trajectory?
Well, again, it's got to be truth. We have to have, there has to be a consensus, which we used to have, that 1 + 1 = 2. We have to believe in our institutions. We have to believe in our Justice Department. We have to believe in the judiciary. We have to believe in the First Amendment, and we have to believe in the press. There's been an assault on our institutions, as there's been an assault on truth, and there's been an attack on our institutions, as there's been an attack on truth. And so, but the realization that we have to come to is that if someone or a group of people don't have the truth on their side, what they're going to do is attack credibility. And so that you have to understand that underlying notion and belief. But we have to believe, we're going to have one consensus about what the truth is. Otherwise, we can't pick ourselves up, because a house divided cannot stand. And so I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if we can get back to living in reality and living in a truthful environment. Every night on television, or as often as I'm on television, I'm going to push for that. As often as I can write a book, I'm going to push for that. And I think that we, especially the folks, meaning you and I who are in journalism, we're going to have to speak the truth, and we're going to have to call out the lies. But I'm optimistic, but I'm not sure. I'm hopeful. I'll put it this way. I'm hopeful, but I'm not sure.
Where do you find your hope for all of this, Don? I mean, look, you wrote this book in the midst of a global pandemic, in the midst of everything that was going on in this country racially with Black Lives Matter and everything that happened, and an election with, on all of that. How does Don Lemon, find the time to write a book, but find the hope and the determination to keep on keeping on, as you say?
Well, the election of November in November of 2020 gave me hope, because there were more people, even though there were a lot of people who voted to take us back to a time when people like you and me did not have equality and equity, when women didn't have equality and equity, when, Black people, brown people, Asian people didn't have equality and equity, but there were more people who voted to move us into the future. And I think that the further away we get from the lies of the last administration, I think that there are going to be more people who are on our side. meaning, and I don't mean politically, I don't mean Republican or Democrat or left leaning or right leaning, but people who want what this country, the promise of this country, which is a more perfect union, which is equality, liberty, and justice for all. And so that gives me hope. It also gives me hope that people like you and I can be out, who can be married, can be ourselves, who have a platform like we do, can take the stigma off of illness and disease, off of mental health, off of HIV, off of cancer. So I think that gives me hope. And I've got to be hopeful, because what's the alternative, Carl? What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative is that you sit down in the mud and continue crying. And as I'm not shy of saying, it's okay to fall over and it's okay to sit and have a cry. In fact, it's healthy. But it's how you get up and take the steps afterwards that I think really matters.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I listen, I think that we have to be strong, even in the face of opposition, even in, as James Baldwin wrote, in the teeth of the most terrifying odds, right? Maintain an unassailable, I forget what it says, and monumental dignity. And I think that that's what one has to do. I do think, and again, I'm not a political person, but the difference from now and 6 months ago in this country, it's just, I mean, can't you feel it?
Oh, it's night and day. Where even, we've obviously got a long way to go with race. I mean, that's hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks and years and years of conversation. But
who's at the top
correct,
saying we need to pay attention and try to right these wrongs and correct these issues. Before, you didn't have that. You had someone who's saying there's no systemic racism in this country.
Well, in the words of Don Lemon, continue on and keep continuing on when you're tired. When it seems there's no point, when the voices of hate and bullshit blather over you, continue on, because no specific moment, no single election, no particular situation is going to make or break this effort. The moment you're in is now. Don Lemon, I wish the moment that I was in could continue for hours, maybe drinks, dinner, but I'm going to have to wait. Maybe one day I'll get invited out on that boat with you and the dogs, and I'll bring my dog, and we'll do all of that. But Don, congratulations again on the book. This is The Fire, What I Say to My Friends About Racism. There it is. Don Lemon, in the meantime, thank you so much, sir.
It's such a pleasure to see you, and congratulations on your success. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
Thank you for giving us the time, Don. Thanks.
Bye.
See you, buddy. If you want more information about what we've talked about or the book, This is The Fire, What I Say to My Friends About Racism, go to pluslifemedia.com and remember to follow us across all social media platforms @pluslifemedia. Until next time, stay safe, wash your hands. We'll see you soon.